Okay, we are back in our January to June mini catalog launch party. It's time for the make and take video. So I'm hopping on just a little bit early so that I can find the video on my iPad. Now that it has updated, we should be good. That always happens at not the right time. So I'll give just a minute for you guys to find the video, and then we can get started with make and takes. I have some supplies that you will need, but don't stress about it. And of course, if you're watching the replay, so glad that you are here. Wait just a minute. See if anybody's able to hop on with me. If not, it's always fine to catch the replay. But we're going to make 4 cute projects, a couple of them very straightforward, a couple with a little bit more detail to them. You're here. Okay, so this is our make and take portion of the video for the launch party. And if you registered for the free make and take packet, it went out a couple of weeks ago along with stamped class packets. So you'll have the supplies that you need to create the projects right along with me. Now, of course, you'll need a few other just standard tools. You'll want your paper snips, your bone folder. I always love to pull out my Take Your Pick tool. A couple of different adhesives. I grabbed Stampin' Seal Plus, my liquid glue, and some glue dots. And of course, somewhere, yes, Stampin' Dimensionals, because can't live without them. I have my piercing mat because I'm going to be using some photopolymer stamp sets. Now remember, if you don't have the sets that I'm using, you can always substitute, and that's just fine. You will need your paper trimmer for the very first project. We're just going to be trimming a very small piece off, but you will need your paper trimmer, okay? And then I grabbed several inks for the first project. Depending on what you got in your packet, you may want to grab Balmy Blue or Just Jade. My Just Jade ink pad's not closing right. You don't have to have those though. You can always use black. Use black on all of these projects. Also for, I think the second or third project, I've got Real Red, and then I pulled out Magenta Madness. But again, if you don't have these colors, don't stress about it. Just use a black ink pad. That'll work just fine. Okay. Just taking a look to make sure comments are still coming through. Just have a couple of you with me, but everybody can also watch the replay. Okay, so this very first project, I gave you a little hint to it earlier when we did the walkthrough, the catalog walkthrough. So the Artistic Beauty Designer Series paper, if you'll remember, it's the one that is a specialty paper, but it is 4 by 6. So this is how it arrives, a whole pack of paper, and it has lots of beautiful patterns that have foiling. So a lot of my paper is gone because I sent out packets, because we're actually going to create our first project with this. So really neat, beautiful foiling on one side, and then you've got some pretty patterns, just more neutral, more muted on the other side. So it's a beautiful paper. First time that I've seen Stampin' Up! Do a 4 by 6 designer series paper. Kind of threw me for a loop at first, but this really kind of gets you prepared to make cards quickly and easily, and we'll see how. Now this special moment stamp set, I'm going to be using a couple of sentiments from this stamp set. It is a celebration item that you can redeem for when you spend $100 in my online store. So free stamp set with a $100 purchase. It's a beautiful set. It's got 21 sentiments. They're very different sentiments, beautiful fonts. So if you're looking for a stamp set that has lots of varied sentiments, then this one would be a great one to redeem for. Okay, let me move a few things out of the way and we'll get started. So in your packet, you will have received an envelope. Should be on the very top. And inside, you're going to have a card base. Now, you may have a Balmy Blue card base, or you may have a Just Jade. I kind of went with what designer series paper was in your packet. For my sample, this is the Balmy Blue, and you can see quick and simple card. It's just simply cutting off 3/4 of an inch from this 4x6 piece, putting it across the card and adding a sentiment. So let's start first of all by folding our card base. So this one will make a Balmy Blue. So if you have Balmy Blue ink and that's what you want to use, that would be great. If you don't, that's okay. Lost my sentiment piece over there. So with a 4x6, when you go to put it on your 5.5 by 4 1/4 card front, of course it's going to be a little bit too long. So by the way, I can quickly and easily make a stack of cards with this package of designer series paper. Now, because this one is a pattern that doesn't really matter which way you orient it, I think this time I'm actually going to orient the card this way and put my sentiment on like this. So you've got lots of options. Let's go ahead and adhere down our designer series paper. I can find my liquid glue again. So everybody got, well, not everybody, a couple people got the same designer series paper, but with as many as I prepped, I used almost all of the designs in the package. You get 4 of each paper. So different people got different patterns, I guess is what I should say. Okay, then I'm just going to use my glue. Put just a little bit on this pretty side and bring this right across here. Because again, I'm going to orient this card a different way. Now, you could certainly mix it up if you wanted to. If you just cut those strips off of several pieces of designer series paper, you could mix and match. That would work too. We'll adhere our inside panel. So I always like to just finish off my card by having that inside panel. And not everyone does that, and that's okay. This is a light enough piece of cardstock that you could write on it, no problem. Okay, let's take this little label, and this is cut from the Tasteful Labels dies. And I think what I'll do is grab my black ink this time. I could really use either the Just Jade or Balmy Blue, but I think I'm going to grab my black and ink this up. You see what I did with my piercing mat so that I get a good sentiment impression. Let me make sure I'm on the right side of my label as well. And this sentiment says, I couldn't wait for a special occasion. That's cute, isn't it? Try to get that straight. So cute. I love the font. Okay, so we're going to add our sentiment, and this card will actually be done, you guys. How quick and easy is that? Of course, you could add ribbon, you could add embellishments if you choose, but you don't have to. That's what's so awesome about this. There's a demonstrator that lives in the South Pacific in Australia named Kylie Bertucci, and she has a hashtag called Love It Chop It. So if you love to search hashtags, go and check out her Love It Chop It hashtag. but she actually recommends that when you get a package of designer series paper, that you cut it down like this. Because once you cut into your paper, you're much more apt to use it instead of hoarding it. I know it's so pretty and we love to keep it and look at it, but it's so much better to create with it and then have a project that we can send out to other people. So that is our first project, you guys. Let me see if I can log back in on my iPad and see if y'all have any questions or anything. There we go. Let me pull that back up. So a very quick and easy project. Hi Judy, you're back. Hi Donna. Okay, so we will go ahead and work on our next project. That's Abstract Beauty. Move a couple of things out of my way. If you guys could only see this room, oh my goodness, what a disaster. But it has been so much fun preparing to do this with you guys. Now, I forgot to pull my dies. I actually don't know what I've done with them. They're here somewhere. But this is the awesome Sweet Talk suite of products that we're going to be using next. And this is such a cute little stamp set. So I actually used the dies as well for this next project that we're doing. And I pulled that gingham embossing folder back out because I decided that wouldn't it be fun to run a piece of vellum through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love to emboss with vellum. It's just so much fun, the way that, just the look that you get with that. So I love that we are talking about embossing folders today because like I said earlier, I'm really bad about putting those away and forgetting about them, and they really do add so much to our project. So this is kind of a busy piece of designer series paper, and I like that it just mutes it down a little bit and helps that focal image really pop. I also wanted to say, as I saw Judy pop on, what a fabulous job Judy and Cassandra did for us. I loved both of their presentations. They are amazing crafters, and they're just such generous, loving people, and I appreciate both of them so much. They did an amazing job. Judy gave us lots and lots of tips with the cloud punch, and thank you, Judy. That was a fabulous presentation. And then Cassandra, oh my goodness, what wow projects Cassandra brought to us. And she was doing her very first live video. So let me tell you guys, I've been doing this for a couple years now. It still makes me a little bit nervous, but we overcome those fears because we want to share our creativity. So I really appreciate Cassandra kind of stepping outside of the comfort zone and doing that for us today. She did a great job. So I appreciate both of them, and I appreciate you guys commenting and just encouraging them along as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold this So Saffron card base. And then we've got an inside panel, of course, to put in there. Now, if you have this stamp set or some other type of heart stamp set, wouldn't it be cute to stamp on the inside? Don't have to, but you could, or you could certainly put some other sentiments on the inside. Let that dry for just a minute. And so this is a super, super simple card, but I thought it turned out really cute. So we've got a layer of real red cardstock. We'll just add that. Sometimes having those layers just really steps it up a notch. I know I've told you this before, but just a little tip that I saw not too long ago, again, when you're using a layer like this that's going to be covered, did you know you could die cut out of the center and nobody would ever know? So if you want to get a little bit more bang for your buck with your supplies, die cut or even cut a piece out of the center when you're layering up. No one will ever know. Now we've got a piece of designer series paper that we'll layer on top. And Judy talked a little bit about using vellum earlier, and I'll show you the little trick that I'm going to use to add the adhesive so it doesn't really show. Because that's one of the things I think can be an obstacle when using vellum, is we just don't know, how do I stick this on here? Okay, now in your packet you've got some little embellishments, so don't let those get away. Let's bring over our sentiment piece. And this time I think I will go ahead and grab my real red ink, but again, if you have black, that will work. And then I've got a Happy Valentine's Day sentiment. I need a bigger table, y'all. So we'll go ahead and do our stamping. This is a really cute Happy Valentine's Day sentiment. And I think this strip is a little long and you'll just be trimming it off, so I just stuck my finger in my ink pad. Y'all ever do that? It looks like I'm bleeding. I'm not. Okay, we'll move that stamp out of the way. So yes, I'm going to want to just snip this off. So grab your paper trimmer again, or just your paper snips. I don't mind if it's not completely perfect. Or you may want to leave those edges so that you can put an embellishment there. But I'm going to be putting that towards the bottom. Now, I introduced you to these cute little envelopes when we did stamp class last weekend. They are just adorable. So we are going to fold this on the score lines and put this little envelope together. And then I just take a little liquid glue or some Stampin' Seal Plus, and I actually adhere my envelope closed. And I just bring in both sides and then pull up that bottom piece. And we'll let that dry for just a second. I'm just looking to make sure that I don't lead you astray on this. And then I'm going to use just a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals to add this envelope to my vellum layer. And you could really put it either way. This one, maybe I'll put it headed this way. And I really like leaving that flap up. I like the dimension that it gives us. And I'm just going to tuck in this little part. Now again, you could use dimensionals if you want to. Just going to add a tiny bit of liquid glue so that it looks like that's coming from my envelope. Just position it the way you like it. Let's add our sentiment with dimensionals as well. When in doubt, pop it up, right? So you could easily mass produce this card. I would just recommend getting all your pieces die cut and ready to go. And we'll come across here with this sweet little sentiment, Happy Valentine's Day. And now I'm just going to add liquid glue back behind where my envelope is and where my sentiment is. And no one will ever know. And no adhesive will show. Let's get that lined up there. And then last but not least, we want to add this favorite embellishment of mine, these iridescent rhinestones. Of course I had to share those with you. And I just popped them on wherever you like them is fine, just for a little bit of shimmer. I don't know that that will really pick up on camera, but it does add a little bit of sparkle. So that is our second project. Super cute. And I love to do Valentine's Day cards for our grandsons, even though they're grown. You know, a little Valentine treat for everybody. And you could certainly mail them out. They're great to give at work too. Everybody loves to know that they're special. Okay, let's move on to our next project. And this time, we are making a really quick and easy card with the Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper. But of course, I have to bring that embossing folder back in, that gingham embossing folder. So those of you that have the Make and Take packet will get to see just how cute it is. Then just a very simple little sentiment. And I put some ribbon back behind. I'll have to see if I put any ribbon in my packet, but I think I am out of that. For this, I can tell you now that my rainbow dies are just kind of a hot mess in here because I've been using them so much. But I do want to share with you just how awesome this die set is. You've got lots and lots of options, and of course, this is also a bundle. If you want to pick up the stamp set and the dies, you can get it in a bundle. You've got a couple of different rainbow options. You've got a couple of different little borders. It's just really, really fun. Some clouds. So I love this set and have used it already quite a bit. And then it coordinates perfectly with the Rainbow of Happiness stamp set. Super cute little stamp set. And let me find under my stack here, I showed you earlier, oops, that's the wrong stack. I showed you earlier the Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper. It is just so cute, you guys. It's got such cute colors and patterns, and you just cannot help but smile when you're working with this paper. Just so stinking cute. I love it so much. So let's show the back side just a little bit. So Bermuda Bay, I think they're So Saffron, Petal Pink, Blushing Bride, Misty Moonlight, Granny Apple Green, and Soft Sea Foam. I'm sure I missed something. Pool Party. I think, I can't remember if that is Flirty Flamingo, but so many different colors, and then Magenta Madness. Bright and fun and just so cute. So I also wanted to share with you this sample that I made for the tutorial bundle that I've been a part of. For right now, that tutorial bundle's on hold, but this was the sample that I created using the rainbow die. So much fun. I love it. I stacked the sentiments, not sure again that that will pick up on camera, but that happy has been cut out 3 or 4 times. I stacked those and glued them together, and then of course have the rhinestones to give it a little bit of shine. So really fun card. And let me find my packet. I do have a little piece of ribbon. Awesome. Okay, so let's get organized here. Got our green card base, and this is not a color that I use terribly often, but it is really, really cute for this card. Go ahead and varnish that score line. Add our inside panel. That's just kind of my routine, how I like to do it, but of course if you want a stamp on the inside, do that first before you adhere it in. And you may notice that this piece of basic white cardstock, I almost called it Whisper White. We haven't had Whisper White for a while. Basic white cardstock is 5 inches by 3 3/4, so it gives you a little bit more of a border. Saw somebody do that on a video, and I thought, hey, that's fun. And then we have got this piece that has been run through the embossing folder that we will add to the front. Now be sure that you're generous with your adhesive. You may want to kind of come down the sides a little bit because that has been embossed. You want to make sure that it adheres properly to your card. And again, that leaves just a little bit more border because I did that at 5 by 3 3/4. we're going to come in with this little strip over here, and I sure hope I cut those right. We'll make it work. So what I did was actually go ahead and just adhere, trying to remember now, let me take a look. Yeah, this is adhered right over this. So just put a small bead of glue. Let's see, I want it on this side. Going down that side. And then just add that to this other piece of Designer Series paper. So we're just getting a little peek of that stripe. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. For me anyway. You do you. Whatever works for you. And then we're just going to come over and add this to the side. I don't know that I got that super straight. That's okay though. Over to the side of my, this is actually Mango Melody that's been embossed cardstock. And again, that's not a color that I use a lot, but it's so bright and so fun. Okay, let's bring in, this is Pool Party, Magenta Madness, and then a piece of white. Oh, I forgot that I put a little piece on the inside too, so let's go in and do that. It's like, why do I have this little random piece of DSP? Because it was a scrap, and that makes more cuteness. And that's off just a little bit in the cut, but I'm just going to let it work. I like using Designer Series paper on the inside, those little strips, and I like to leave a little bit of white. I saw someone do that, and I like that. I like the way that it looks. Okay, now let's grab either our black, or if you have Magenta Madness ink, and I'll grab my sentiment and my piercing mat. And we'll stamp this little sentiment. And this actually comes from Sunshine and Rainbows. No, Rainbow of Happiness stamp set. Ink that up. Let's see how I did. Pretty good. Now we're just going to layer those circles. And if you want to, you could even offset them like that. I think that's fun and whimsical. This set has really cute little sentiments. In this Magenta Madness cardstock, I used, of course, the Layering Circles dies. It is barely a little border of Magenta Madness, but I feel like that really helps make the sentiment pop when you do that. You don't have to, of course. And then let's put a couple of dimensionals to attach these two together. And add that to the Pool Party layer. Another little scallop. And again, if it's not perfect, now I will just add some glue. Actually, no, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to pop that up because that's going to help with my ribbon staying underneath. Now this is just a little small piece of ribbon. I actually just kind of brought it around into a loop to put it down just to add a little bit of sparkle. You could use a glue dot. I'm actually going to bring in my Stampin' Seal Plus just to put a little bit of adhesive down to help me hold this ribbon in place. And again, it just brings a little bit of sparkle. And now we can add the sentiment right over that. So cute and bright. I love this little card. Oops, my ribbon popped up. Let's work on that again. Ribbon emergency. We can fix it though. Okay, there we go. There's project number 3. I love this paper. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, let's go on to our last make and take. And I've just been putting them over to the side. That probably wasn't super smart of me. I'll bring them back in just a minute. Now this last project is featuring the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper. And there is one of the sheets. You've seen this before. Stampin' Up! Has done this for a couple of years, where you've got a 12 by 12 piece of paper and it has the daffodils, and then on the other side it has them upside down. I'm better with using these now, but I do have to admit that threw me for a loop when they first started doing this. How do I use that? Well, of course, you just cut it. It's that easy. So let me bring in this cute little fun fold that we're going to do with that piece of Designer Series paper. Super quick, super simple, and you're just going to be able to stamp in that area at the top. You don't have to though if you don't want to. Just the paper is pretty all by itself. So let's grab this packet of supplies. And so you've got a piece of paper, and if I recall correctly, because it's been a couple weeks, like I said, since I prepped all of this. This is about 3 inches wide, and it goes almost to the top. So probably 5 5/8 inches tall. So your card base is scored for you. We're gonna fold it on that center score line and then fold this piece back. So you've got 2 score lines to burnish. Just be sure you burnish those really well. And it's super simple. We're just going to take this where I wanted it, to where it had very, very slim border at the top and bottom. And then I was actually able to adhere right in through here. So kind of hold with your finger where you're going to put your adhesive, because you want to make sure you just do the side that's going to be touching the card base. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to, excuse me, hold this back up and get everything lined up while holding that card base back. Get that small border top and bottom. Let that adhesive set for a minute, and now I've got that awesome fold. It's so fun to use the Designer Series paper in that way, I think. Now, I should have stamped before I did that. I am really living on the edge, you guys. But you know, you don't have to stamp. The other thing I realized is I didn't put my ribbon on either. So on this card, got ahead of myself, I wrapped my ribbon around and tied the knot, and then I glued it down. So if you did not glue yours down yet, do that. If you are like me and you just got too excited, just make a little bow. I had somebody tell me the other day I'm really good at showing how to fix problems. That's because I create problems all the time, you guys. But there's never, there's very, very seldom anything that you can't fix. So this is that cute bumblebee ribbon that's been in our catalog, for quite some time now. Just gonna pop that on. I'm gonna cut my tails so that they're even. So there's always a fix, right? So if you have not adhered yours down and you want it wrapped around, you've got time. If you did, if you followed my instructions, I led you astray and I'm sorry. But you can always come in and just add your bow with a glue dot and we're going to be just fine. Still going to have that same cute effect. Now, Bumblebee is not in this designer series paper, but I thought that this ribbon worked really well with this paper. I just thought it was really pretty. I put my bow right about there. Okay, so you'll get to see two different versions, right? And also, I think I'm still going to try stamping. We'll see. Or maybe, no, I think I'm still going to try stamping. But always put your sentiment on the inside. That's the problem when I prepare things way in advance. I forget, y'all. Okay, we'll add that inside panel. Oh, I didn't do a very good job on that, did I? Move it back over. And I think the key really is to get that burnish down. It's not wanting to cooperate, but just keep working with it. Show it who's boss, right? So there we go. We've got that fold. Now, I had just a little bitty stamp. I may not be able to find my stamp. Oh, there it is. Let's see, you guys, what we should do. I may go ahead. It says Hello Sunshine. I may live on the edge and do it. We're living right, y'all. Looks cute. Now again, you could certainly embellish this if you wanted to, but look at how quick and easy you can make a beautiful card. If you needed one, this again would make, I think, a very pretty sympathy card. You want to keep it simple when you're talking sympathy cards. They're so difficult to make, but this paper is lovely. And a lot of times, if you use really pretty paper, that's all you really need, is your sentiment in your paper. Okay, so that is our last project. I hope you liked that fold. I thought that was really fun. And hey, we've got two different ways to add that ribbon. There you go. Okay, that is our make and take. So you had two that focused more on celebration because this beautiful paper is free. The Sunshine and Rainbows designer series paper is free from Celebration. And then a couple things from the new mini catalog. So let me know what your favorite is. I hope you enjoy being able to do the make and takes and having some of the products in your hands so you can really see how pretty it is. All right, I did do some drawings after Cassandra's presentation. And I've got some winners to announce. So I first of all have 4 different prizes for this event. I'm going to wait and draw on Tuesday evening for a couple of winners because I know a lot of people had other things going on, couldn't attend the launch party live, so they're going to watch the replay. So anyone that leaves a comment on any of the videos will be entered for a chance to win these prizes. So I have a Hive embossing folder. Showed you that in that walkthrough video. Really cool embossing folder. I have a package of our slimline envelopes. So remember, 15 of those slimline envelopes. These will be given away Tuesday evening. I'll announce the winners. For now, I have a Hello Ladybug stamp set. There is a coordinating punch that can be purchased, but Lisa McGraw, you are the winner of the Hello Ladybug this. And then the embossing folder, and this is going to be going out to Becky Dixon. So congratulations, Lisa and Becky. You guys are the winners of the drawings for the live videos. And then you're also entered for a chance to win again. So any comments that are made after today that will go towards those that are drawn from watching the replay. So be sure to leave your comments. Thank you so much for supporting me and my business. Thank you so much for being so gracious and welcoming to both of our presenters, Judy and Cassandra. They did a wonderful job, and seeing all those comments come rolling through really is encouraging to us when we're doing the videos for you. So I thank you for that. They did such a good job, and I appreciate them so much. They are on our team of Super Inspired Stampers, and we would love to welcome you to our team as well. Okay, you guys have a great rest of your day. If you are joining us for after party, we will see you at 6:30 tonight to keep the fun going. Thank you.